folks, good morning. It's day 2 for my pastrami journey here, I'll call it. So today what I'm going to do is make my brine. And then after my brine, I'll get on to the next video, which is trimming the meat and getting it all ready to go. So we're going to start off with toasting some spices first. Forgive the camera work, I'm working off my phone because my other camera packed it in, so sorry. All right, so we're going to start off with toasting some spices for the brine. We're going to start off with, first of all, get my little oven going here and down to about a medium low. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't burn the spices, you just want to toast them. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of black peppercorns, 2 tablespoons of coriander seed, and 2 tablespoons of mustard seed. And you just roll that around, and you want to toast these until it gets fragrant. So and what this does is this brings out the flavor in these spices for when you add them to the next part. Okay, let's stir that around a little bit. And once you smell that they're starting to get fragrant, then they're toasted. Okay, so like I said, the first step in my brine is to toast these 3 spices: the black peppercorns, the mustard, and the coriander seeds. Okay, so this is coming along pretty good. I can start to smell them now, so I'm going to turn the heat off. Okay, and this is what they look like. Okay, so mustard seeds, coriander seeds, and black peppercorns. 2 tablespoons of each of those. Now to this, what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 tablespoons of juniper berries. So that's these here. And then 2 tablespoons of allspice berries. Now I'm not toasting these. The heat is off, okay? 2 tablespoons. So 2 tablespoons of juniper berries, 2 tablespoons of allspice, 2 tablespoons of red chili flake. Mix up in there. A little bit of the residual heat that's on the pan will give it a little bit more flavor, but you're not toasting them. Next is, where are we at here? 2 tablespoons of whole cloves. Okay, so that's here. And then 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. One teaspoon of ground mace. Now when you're creating a brine for pastrami or any kind of brine, it's usually personal choice and personal preferences what you come up with for your recipes. So after this, now we've got the mace in there, I'm going to add in 3 crushed cinnamon sticks, and I crush these up in my mortar and pestle. Okay. Now, the next part is 20 bay leaves, crumbled. So I've got 20 bay leaves in here, and I'm just going to crumble them up. This is going into the brine. Remember, it's a wet brine for the pastrami. So, or for the brisket to begin with. All right, so that's the bay leaves. Now, to that, I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. And this is going to also help with creating the brine. Okay, this is all going to go into 4 cups of water. Okay, and then we're going to bring that to a boil. Okay, so first of all, these are all done. What you want to do is let them cool, and you want to reserve a 1/4 cup of this into a measure, because that will be added into the water after it's come to a boil and the other stuff has been dissolved, and I'll get to that in a second. The rest of it, vacuum seal it, and you've got the brine for the next, or you've got the pickling spices all set up for the next time you want to do a brine on some meat. Okay, so I'm going to add all of this right now to a measuring cup. Let me do this over the sink. Maybe not that measuring cup. Let's try one a little bit bigger. All right. And like I said, you want to mix this up and mix it up good, and then reserve a 1/4 cup of this, because the 1/4 cup that you're going to reserve is going to go into the boiling water once the salt and sugar and curing salts and honey go in. All right, so I'm going to reserve a cup of that, and this will be what goes into the water once everything else is dissolved. All right, the next step, my water. Okay, you're going to bring this water to a boil. I should have had this on already. But to this water, once it's boiling, you're going to add 1.5 cups of kosher salt, a cup of white sugar, Okay, so this is a 1/2 cup measure. I'm going to do 1.5 cups of the kosher salt. So that's 3 1/2 cups. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's 1.5 cups of the kosher salt. And you want to get this started to go. Once this starts to dissolve and boil, it'll go a lot faster. But get the water moving a little bit first. That way you don't have to worry so much about it, because you're going to be adding more. Let's move this out there a little bit. And put that up there. Now, to this, that's the 1.5 cups of salt. And then we're going to add 1 cup of white sugar. All right, do it the hard way, sorry. Do it the hard way. 1 cup of white sugar. And we'll give that another stir, get that going while this is heating up. Put that on high, so it should come along pretty good. All right. Now, to this, we're also going to add 6 level teaspoons of what they call prog powder. It's what it is a pink curing salt. Okay? And you want 6 level teaspoons of this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now the curing salt is going to give the pastrami its color, and it's also going to help with pickling the brisket. Okay. Alright, so now with that, now that this is going and it's heating up, I'm going to add a quarter cup of honey, liquid honey. And probably your best bet is to use local honey that you can get. And what this does is adds a little bit of sweetness to the brine. I'm not very good at doing cooking shows, so usually I have all of this done and then I just take pictures. But it is what it is. So back to basics living, or back to basics kitchen. Here you go. You talked me into it. All right. Now that the water's starting to boil, get this going. And we're going to go back to our half cup measure. Now you want this all to dissolve in this water. Okay? And once it's dissolved, all right, a half cup of dark brown sugar. and you want to pack it. Try and make it as level as you can. In that goes. Okay, turn this down a bit so I don't get boiling liquid going everywhere. Now that it's really sticky, that would not be a good thing. You don't want to get that on you. Okay, and I can still hear the grit, so it's starting to dissolve. But if you'll notice, the color is a little browner, right? You see? It takes a little bit to get it going, but once you've got it to that point, the next thing we're going to add in is our pickling spice. All right. All right, get that stirring. And the next item that we're going to add in, which I haven't prepped yet, is, I'm going to turn this down to low. Okay, 10 cloves of peeled and crushed garlic. And this garlic is going to also enhance the brine. And if you notice what I'm doing, I'm cutting the ends off, putting these in a mason jar, because once it's 4. Once I get these all in here, put a lid on it, give it a good shake, and hopefully 1, 2, 3, 8, 2 more. Hopefully the skins will all magically come off. So there's 10 cloves. Now, a good shake. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A couple didn't peel, but the skins come off a lot easier now. All right. funny how that works. It's a good little trick if you've got to process a lot of garlic. And for those of us that pickle garlic, it's always a good idea. Anything to make the process a little bit quicker, in my books, works. And there's always one. All right. So, 10 cloves of garlic, like I said, peeled and smashed. And by smashing them, what you're doing is you're releasing the oils in the garlic. Get back here. Not getting away from me, you little bugger. Should have used the bigger knife, I guess. All right, give that a stir. Make sure everything is all combined and dissolved together. Oh, it smells really good too. Now what you want to do here is, once everything's in the pot and everything's good to go, this is when you turn it off and you let it cool. You have to let it cool before you put it in with the prepped meat, or else it's going to start to cook the meat, and that's not something you want to do when you're brining. Okay, so this is off now. You can see I've got a nice brine here. Okay, so that's how to make the brine for my pastrami. And like I said, it's personal preference for how anybody does theirs, but this is a good start for you, and the easiest way to do that is to look it up a little bit, do some research, just like anything, and then you go on to the next step. Okay, so we'll talk to you when we're doing the meat prep. Prep Rebel out.